welcome to another warm-up show on the great evening of the Wednesday night, January 11, 2023. This is the co-host directly for the beautiful country of Thailand called French. We have to go all the way downtown Toronto. Ready. Mr. ENORTAP is in the house tonight.
Hello, Coach, and hello, Hockey Nation.
Welcome back, Mr. ENORTAP.
Wednesday.
It's the time is flying, Mr. ENORTAP. It's amazing.
It does.
It's it's funny me because it's I still don't believe it because I'm 12 hours, right? So right now for me it's Thursday. So that every time we do the warm-up show, I feel like because we have to do another show this Saturday morning, but my weeks honestly usually it's Monday to Friday. But me, it's a Tuesday to Saturday, so it's very different about what it was in the past. But anyway, it's just me. You are on the right spot. You are at the right place. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Only 4 games, Mr. ENORTAP, on the program tonight. Easy night for everybody. Everybody's going to get a 3-1-4-0 with all your prediction you're going to give to us with all the tip information you have for us. I see a perfect night for everybody. I feel it, Mr. ENORTAP. I feel this is going to be a great night for everyone.
I don't know. It's the NHL, Coach. Anything can happen any given night. So I would agree with that. I think it should be a relatively easy night to predict, but we've seen many surprises this year, and we just don't know.
But one thing we know is going to have a great show here tonight because we have a lot of things to talk about. Fun team and fun news around the league. 10 games yesterday, a lot of goal, a lot of red tan skin last night behind the goaltender because there was many goals around the league. But first of all, talking about the great game, we're not talking about the great people we have. That's the most important thing, Mr. ENORTAP. We have Mr. Jeffrey Curry, Taiwan.
Hi, Jeffrey. Welcome.
What about Ryan Kirk is in the house tonight? Ryan Kirk, thanks to be with us.
How's it going, Ryan? Welcome.
Jose Duarte, welcome back in the house.
Jose, hello.
The assistant moderator, Luciano GRAZIANO.
Hello, Lucky.
The number 1 fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs, back in the house, Mr. Kevin DP.
Welcome, Kevin.
He's back with us tonight, Mr. ENORTAP. Our friend Ty is back with us. If I can find his quiz right there. Here we go. Ty, welcome back. Linstead.
Welcome aboard, Ty.
Thanks to be with us. Coach, you're calling the Toronto game today. Yes, Kevin, go to do the game at 7:30 against the Nashville Predator. And our friend, he's going to be on the bus, Mr. ENORTAP, with a great performance at 8-2. Double J, your neighbor from Toronto downtown. Congratulations.
That's amazing, Double J. Way to go.
Thanks so much, Luciano, for information. And our friend, maybe he is calling sometime. It's not a no deal. Maybe he said maybe it's a deal, but one thing we know, we have the real deal. And I don't know. He don't know what's going on with the Buffalo Sabre, but he will talk to us about what's going on.
What's wrong, Real?
And Mr. ENORTAP, we have to talk about another great performance. He have an amazing, great run. I think January 2023 is going to be one of the best as the prediction of the productivity of the prediction. I'm talking about Richard Mullen. Another great performance last night.
Way to go, Richard.
And then we have from Finland, Mr. Jarmo Virtanen.
Moi, Jarmo. Welcome.
Welcome aboard. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show. And from Newfoundland, welcome back, Ellen Keeve. Welcome back with the jersey, Montreal Canadian.
Thanks for joining us, Ella.
Look like Ellen not traveling this morning, so that's good to see she's around at home and ready to watching the hockey tonight. Pierre Martin, welcome back, Pierre Martin, la belle province de Québec.
How's it going, Pierre?
Ryan Kirk said Frederick Anderson was removed from the ER. Will be interesting to see that. Kevin DB did his prediction of the game is on top Toronto 4-2 today. So you can maybe take a note about this and maybe share your situation about this, about
Well,
that.
if Kevin tells us, we listen.
And then Jeffrey said, I called Seattle last on Vancouver long shot. Congratulations about this one, Jeffrey, for that call, but he lost against Vancouver. So he scored 50-50 for sure. And Yamo is happy about this one. And we want to thank, we want to have Shania in the house too. Welcome, everybody. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show. The Son of Tap.
Welcome, guys.
Don't forget to click on the like. That'd
Ladies
be
and
great.
gentlemen.
We have already inside of 10 minutes, guys. I'm getting better and better, so you have a better chance to talk. We have a lot of subjects to talk about anyway. I bring you a couple of things, Mr. Natap. First of all, we want to invite everybody. Don't forget to email us if you want to participate to the prediction. This is the best way to reach Mr. Natap and give us all the update we have. Talking about update, we're not talking about what pay your attention with 10 games yesterday, Mr. Natap. That would be interesting what you have to say about those games yesterday.
I would say that, especially that Western Conference, Coach, I think that playoff picture is getting more and more muddled as the days go by. You would expect, like the East, where things are starting to settle down, and you got a pretty good idea within a team or two who's going to be in the playoffs. In the West, no such luck there. We got like Nashville, Edmonton, Calgary, Colorado. I would throw Seattle in the mix. Like these are all teams that may or may not make it. Most of them will, but there'll be at least two teams that are going to be on the outside looking in, and that's going to be a tough call for them because it will affect how they behave over the next 50 days or so before the trade deadline. In terms of what they do, are they buyers? Are they sellers? Do they empty the cupboards of prospects to try to get somebody? Who knows? But last night we weren't lacking for great games like that Minnesota and the Ranger game. I believe it went to a shootout, if I recall. 4-3 for the Rangers after starting off a little bit tough. They fell behind 2-0. They tied it late in the game. Chidol again was the main man there. Pittsburgh had to hang on. It looked like they had that game in control, but against Columbus, but they had to hang on at the end. A nice showing towards the third period for Columbus to try to get back into it. And that Seattle Buffalo game, I'm shocked. I'm shocked how well Seattle's playing. I'm shocked that Buffalo at home yet again blew an opportunity against a team that I think we can safely say is not going to be in the playoffs and pick up 2 points if they have intention of trying to make a run towards a playoff spot, the wild card, and they didn't take advantage of it. And the same thing with Winnipeg. I know it's tough to win once you go to Detroit, but you got to give Detroit credit. They took Winnipeg has a very distinct plan, and their system is very simple. They buy into the system that Bonus has given them. He gives them carte blanche in terms of really taking opportunities, but playing within the system that he wants. And it got disrupted very quickly because the Detroit Red Wings jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and it had to open up the way they played the game. Winnipeg usually likes to hang around. If you look at their data, Coach, you'll see that they don't take very many shots in the first period. Winnipeg, they just try to establish their game, and if they're opportunists and the situation comes up, they usually end up scoring. So you see a lot of 1-1 games, or they're winning 1-0 at the end of the first period. Now you couple that with the fact that maybe Hellebuck had a bit of a night off yesterday, and you get that score of 7-5, a high scoring game. Dallas and the Islanders, what a battle. 2-1 Dallas wins. I think that one was a shootout as well. Very, very tense game, a playoff type of game, I thought. Um, and St. Louis takes another point away from Calgary, 4-3. I mean, I think those were the main ones. Oh, sorry, I forgot all about Florida. Out of nowhere, come out and give Colorado trouble. And it looked like Colorado maybe was going to pull a rabbit out of the hat, because I think they were trailing 4-1 at one point. They came back, they tied it up, but that third period was all Colorado. But they hung on, and Florida scored later on in the period and took that one home. Good on them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about this. Great comment about. We have a great night for Kucherov, Malkin, and Seder, 4 point each. Kucherov 2-2, Malkin 2-2, and Seder 4 assists yesterday for the Detroit Red Wings. Maybe his best game of the season for Maurice Seder. About Detroit Red Wings again. About Jake Ottinger, another great performance. Only one goal against the Islanders for a save percentage of 9-6-4. We want to welcome back at DHG and Mr. Vinny, both of them, welcome back in the house. And then we want to thank, we wish the best for Ellen for her surgery for the shoulder. So I just want to bring this, Mr. ENORTAP. But, tonight we're going to talk about different things. First of all, we have a little bit like everyday chronic or a little bit a 5-minute turnaround the Montreal Canadiens. The ad news and update. They send Anthony Richard to the Laval Rocket. They called up Jesse Ilonen from Laval Rocket. Ilonen was traveling with the team in Rochester. It popped up and this morning at the practice during for the Montreal Canadiens. Play on the 4 line that moment with Drouin and Hoffman. And Pastor was the one removed of the lineup at this one. It's not going to confirm. For the first time of the year, they have a French lesson. Mr. ENORTAP, 5 players participate to the French lesson. It's happening yesterday. It's ex-Olympic Canada, 1984, on the swimming or something like diving or whatever it is. I cannot remember his name. And they all gave the lesson to the 5 players for the Montreal Canadiens. So very interesting to see that. And then they work a lot during the practice about the defensive zone coverage, where they're really focusing yet today how they do this, everything like that, the concept, new system, blah, blah, whatever you call it. Really surprised me to starting to learning this in January. We are already 4 months in the season, and they try to work on the defensive zone concept. One, they should do this like long time ago, and it's hard because you cannot practice a lot during the season. So again, it's another learning for everybody, and that's what Martin said. We make really put all his energy during the practice today on the defensive zone coverage. Jake Allen was back on the ice, but alone. Practice on the ice number 2 at the Brassard for about 40 minutes. Left about the half of the practice of the Montreal Canadiens. Look like it's under her body, but it not look like long term. It's just a short term. Martin Saint-Louis never announced his goaltender situation the day before, so it will be interesting if he's going to be back with Montembeault or not. And then after that, the team traveling. I would not be surprised Allen is out tomorrow and wait for until the traveling during the weekend return Primo. But again, this is only what my thinking was thinking of that. But we have to something follow up with Jake Allen. Finally, bad news for the assistant captain, Brendan Gallagher, is going to be now out for 6 weeks more. So after the re-aggrave his lower body injury January 3rd, back. And now he's going to be out for another 6 weeks. That bring him most like at the beginning of March, Mr. ENORTAP. So this is what happening for the Montreal Canadiens run. We have a couple of people talk each other in the chat. Look like we don't have anything is going on. We don't have new people. So DH is in the house. And thanks so much to be with us tonight. Mr. ENORTAP, I'm fired up, Mr. ENORTAP. So let's move on with what we have for you. Montreal Canadiens complete the 41 half of the season, the first half of the season last game, and now they start the second half of the season tomorrow again in Nashville Predator. And I invite everybody, guys, to watch my daily news. Today, Mr. ENORTAP, is about my first half review, and then is the locker room divide. This is what I have on for you guys on my video app Daily News. I invite you to watching my video every day, Monday to Friday at 11 o'clock at Mr. Notap Eastern Time. I always bring some fun subject on those video. And yeah, you're going to see what I'm talking about the locker room. But first up, maybe Mr. Notap, maybe give us a few minutes about the Montreal Canadiens. Many of them are fans, want to know more. What are the surprises? What area, what do you think are the surprise for you during the first half of the season?
With regards to just Montreal or in the
Yeah,
NHL,
yeah, yeah,
coach?
yeah. Abs first
In
half.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would sort of hesitate to use the word divided. I think I would substitute it maybe with a different word or a different phrase. Maybe it just represents right now some tension that might exist. And by that, I mean, we're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline time. So you've got some players that I think they see the writing on the wall. They know that they're not part of the long range plans. And it's not an easy thing. Like for us, it's you almost figure it's like trading hockey cards. Hey, I'll give you these two hockey cards. You give me those three, and we're both happy. For them, it's a major disruption when they get traded. They have to leave a city that maybe they've become accustomed and love being in, and all of a sudden they land somewhere else. They're worried about, will they sign on after that? And we've seen the effects it has on players. I mean, the trade with Huberdeau going to Calgary, and Uyghur as well. It really disrupted the chemistry in Calgary, and it also disrupted the chemistry in Florida. And you can go on and name a few other ones as well. So I don't know if I would use the word divided per se. I would just say that there's a lot of concern within that locker room. Even the young kids, they're all, they all want to do well, but they've got to realize obviously that they're going to make mistakes, and it's how you treat these mistakes, how you approach them as a coach, as an assistant coach, as a GM, and you allow them to grow within those parameters so that they become better hockey players. That's what the development's all about. So when you see these games that are 6-1 or 9-2 that we've experienced in the last week and a half or two, that's concerning. That's concerning because what's happening is not only are you losing in an embarrassing fashion, but the effort starts to dissipate. Um, the climate becomes very toxic. Players aren't having fun anymore. And so I think the real job of, let's say, Martin St. Louis would be to try to recapture that whole aspect of them having fun and not worrying so much about the final outcome. As long as the effort is being put in, that's the key thing. And I don't think that that'll change until there's more settled information in terms of, okay, the trade deadline's over. This is the squad we have now. Let's move forward and think about next year. But in the
But we
interim
still have
time,
6 weeks
let's
to be
work.
there.
I know, and that's what worries me. Like that,
But
it's a
that's the
fine
reason why
line.
the
Like
the, the everything
how do you
stuff for
join that?
yeah, but everything why they are divided is because December 15, he said after the press conference, we are focusing on the development. If you're a hockey
Yes.
player in the locker room and you see your coach said, we're not focusing on winning, but on the development, so why I'm going to work hard? Why I'm going to push myself here when he's going to focusing on Zuski, on Cooley, on Harris, on Caulfield, and what about us? We have about 12 player veteran here. What we doing now? That was
But I would,
that's happening there, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
night. The next day, that's Montreal go down after that, and they not never
yeah. I
went back
understand
again.
that. I understand that, and that's a relevant point, I guess. I'm just thinking if I'm one of those veteran players, and like I said, I see the writing on the wall that I'm going to more than likely be moved. then my focus, okay, if I don't want to be part of that development or I'm going to be ignored, then I have to think about, okay, how do I make myself a better player so I can market myself a little bit better here and land in a place that I like to be at so that my value doesn't go completely off the radar here. Like no team's going to want to pick up a player that, hasn't scored in 6 months or 4 months, whatever,
Take
and doesn't
Hoffman,
want to
Mr.
be
Natap.
part of it.
Hoffman have one more year at $4.5 million. So why you would go working like everybody saw the inscription Montreal don't work hard right now. It's because Mike Hoffman said what I'm going to do now. I'm not playing the power play. Josh Anderson, same thing. You don't see Josh Anderson the same way anymore. Why? He got removed for the power play. So what he did, they gave to the rookies to developing them, and they removed the veterans. That's create the divide inside of the current. Not that it's like a bad apple or it's really negative. They have a big thing, but the way Martin Saint Louis act and he said that's changed completely the divide of the team where the veteran are now said, wait, I'm not going to be there in me and the next 6 weeks. What I'm going to block the shot tonight? What I'm going to try to get hurt? I'm not going to be
Well,
part
it's
of
a, it's a ref-
the future here. I'm not going to be part of this. So for me, I think that's the reason why it's coming from the locker room.
Yeah, but I think ultimately they're doing damage to themselves. I understand you're saying, why should I get in front of this puck and prevent it from being shot on the goaltender? But you're diminishing your own value in that fashion because other teams will see this guy doesn't have the heart. He doesn't have the, like, you look at somebody like Hoffman. Okay, even if he returns next year, which I believe could be a legitimate thing because, as you said, his contract maybe nobody's going to pick up. But next year he becomes a free agent. So what if at the end of the free agency, because he slacked off for a year and a half in Montreal, wasn't willing to give the extra mile, wasn't willing to stop a puck or back check or score? Everybody else will see that in the NHL, and they will not pick up this guy's contract. So pretty much his career is done when you think of it that way, unless he's willing to take a major pay cut and go somewhere for $1 million.
Yeah, but what he would work hard. What would be the
So
purpose? He
that
said, give everything here tonight. I'm going to block shot. I'm going to make a physical contact every time. That one, I play on the 4 line.
it's called pride, coach. It's called
He said,
pride. You have
why
to
they use
play,
Sakaski in front of me? Why they use other players in front of me? So what I'm going to do that? Yeah,
but
yeah. He's 34 years old, Mr. Natap. He's not going to be more after that.
no, but you know what? There's things you can control and things you can't control. You can't control where the team or the management or the coach is intending the team to go. By you pouting around and not giving your best effort, you're only going to hurt yourself in the end, right?
All right.
Whereas if at least he puts in the effort, if he puts in the effort, okay, they put me on the fourth line, but you know what? I'm going to be the best fourth liner there is in the NHL, or at least on
But
this team.
why we're going to
That
do that, Mr. Natap? Why we're going to work hard only for the development? We not play right now for winning. We play for the development.
Well, you're part of that development right now. Even as a veteran, you're part of that. Like
Wait a
your
minute.
job is maybe
What's my development? I don't play on the
help
power
some.
play. I don't play on the PK. You put me on the 4 line. I got signed a contract at $4.5 million to play on the power play. My
He
point
got
is,
signed.
Martin said what he said, we're focusing on development over the winning. He lost half of the locker room. When he come back to locker room to tell them, hey, we have to working hard, we have to do this. He said, wait a minute, coach, you focus on development. You just put Chris Whiteman in the lineup and you don't bring Justin Barron. And I can go all the way
So
like that. My point to you
are you
is,
are you
I think
saying
the
that's the
divide
wrong
is starting
decision?
with Martin Saint Louis when he said the development versus the winning. Every player wants to win in hockey. And I think Martin Saint Louis sometimes he need to learn what he use his sentence or how he reflect on that one because he's going to lose his veteran at some point. And that's the reason what's going on right now. I think the reason you don't work hard or the player don't pop up or show up, that's some veterans coming from that part of there. Of course, Coffee will try to work hard, everything like that. Of course, the other the future about. But my point to divide on that locker room is the lack of leadership inside the locker room. Nick Skee at 24 years old cannot step up and tell to Mike Hoffman working hard. Say, hey, buddy, wait a minute. I'm going to be out. I'm not part of the plan for the Montreal Canadiens. Why I'm going to work harder?
Yeah, but the player has to have that pride. They have to want to do it for themselves. You can't just give up. I get where you're going with it, and I see merit to some of that statement, but I think in the end you're only responsible to yourself from the perspective that you're a professional hockey player, and your expectation doesn't matter if I play on the first line or 5 minutes on the fourth line, is to give the best 5 minutes that you can if you're only on there 5 minutes. And if you're a power play guy and they put you on a penalty kill, well, try to make that the best you can. You can't control the situation. You can only control yourself and how you perform.
All right, we're going to move on. Mr. Danny is in the house. Mr. RJ in the house. Welcome, both of you. Richard Molin is in the house. Thank you so much again. Each one of you. Of course, you have to include veteran too. If you don't, you got passive charm situation, you answer. Yeah, that's just something you have to figure out about this one there. We want to mention to you, Mr. Natap, the first question was
They're
about
wrong.
what is your surprise on Montreal Canadiens? Who are the surprise of Montreal Canadiens?
It's a good question. I was initially I was surprised by the very good play of both goaltenders early on in the year. I thought that they really stole a few games for Montreal between the two of them, but they seem to have sort of returned back down to earth. Again, I don't know about a surprise. I mean, maybe it was an expectation that guys like Suzuki and Caulfield would step up this year, and they have for the most part in terms of their point production. Um, I'm surprised. I'm surprised some of the other guys like Drouin and, as we were saying, Hoffman, Armia, did not step up their game. And I know it's about opportunity and being put on the right situations, but it seems like, as you were saying, their heart isn't into it, and that's surprising in a negative way, because I thought, as I was saying before, and it really depends on your own character and your own person. If you take pride in something you do, then you try to be the best you can at it, right? It doesn't matter what it is. If you don't, then you see results like that and performances like that. So yeah, the defense really surprised me in a positive way. I thought we'd have a lot, and it is bad, but there's a lot of promise there, because you're dealing with 5 rookies that are on that defensive core at different times. But I thought Gooley really stepped it up. I thought Arbor is given us all. Harris has been relatively consistent. Kovacevic has been, very good as well. And that part, has been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, for me, I will go with Caden Coley. And for is my surprise for the Montreal Canadiens for everything. Like you can see, he's not playing right now, and the defensive struggle is 21 years old. So I will go with Caden Coley. We're going to talk more about this at the App Daily News. Your App branch, your Sunday rendezvous, Sunday, Monday at 11 o'clock. We're going to go through the first round, first out of the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to go around the table, Mr. Natal. We have a few people in the chat. We welcome back everybody. Don't forget to click on the likes. Richard RG Calabro back in the house. Great comment from Nicholas in the house. Thanks so much, everybody. To talk about fun things. And I'm going to go flip this about a few minutes, Mr. I'm going to go a little bit and ask a question. are you concerned about the Edmonton Oilers? They're looking, shopping for the left defenseman, and they cannot figure out what's going on over there. So it was funny. At the beginning of the year, I would say to you, the player we're going to miss the most in the NHL this season, I would said it was going to be Duncan Keith. It was said, wait a minute, no, it's impossible. He's 39 years old, and you know what I mean. But that's happening over there. It's a Duncan Keith. They never recovery is lost about this. You think about what the Toronto Maple Leafs, we laugh about this sometimes. We think about they lost Morgan Riley. Some other players step up behind the Giordano, the Sandin, and I can go all the way like that. They must Marzen. They still continue to have a good team overall. But right now, the Edmonton Oilers, Mr. Tap, they have nothing after Darnell Nurse. Kulak Brober is not the answer. And so they are looking, searching for the left defenseman.
And Bouchard hasn't developed to the extent that
Yeah,
they
he
thought
play
he
on the
would,
right
right?
defenseman. So, you know what I mean? So I try
Yeah,
to.
it's not. Yeah, yeah. You're right. I think that that's their main area of concern. I think that that's what they will address. I think they're willing to live with their goaltending situation. The thing is with Skinner, you can't overuse him. He's still, at a young age, and he needs proper development as well. I think they're married to Campbell in the sense that they took on this contract. They thought he'd be the answer, and the hope is that perhaps as time goes on, and he builds his confidence a little bit more, that he might turn into the investment that they thought they would. But it's all about the defense with them. They have to pick up a couple pieces, otherwise this team's not going to go far.
Yeah, we have to figure out something. It's not easy to trade, by the way. Everybody waiting for you, and the demand is, they ask a lot in return, whatever it is. So some they are talking about this. Jordan Manson is one of them. We talk about Kavrikov for the Columbus Blue Jacket, and then we talk about possibility. I would be surprised you. I think if I was the Edmonton Oilers, it's a little bit. I don't think it's going to call this like a rental plus, but I would look for Arizona, the defenseman, not Chikron, but Cody Picher or whatever his last name. I think that would be a good asset because the player is really good on the transition. He can move the puck. A little bit like Kate Yandel did with the Florida Panthers or the New York Rangers in the past. I think it would fit better to anybody. Joel Edmondson stay home. I'm not sure that we're helping them on the transition for them. So they need someone to have a great first pass on the tape for McDavid or Tressello to go back right away. I'm not sure Joel Edmondson can become that one over there. If they want to go a little bit more physical, that's maybe the one I was looking for. But I think for me, if I have to look all the defensemen out of the market, I will go about the player for the Arizona Coyotes for me.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. They need a good puck moving defenseman.
That would be the something about that. The National are back, Mr. Nortap. This is all about the Zaros Ozzy, McDonald, and the productivity on offensive with Philip Forsberg. They are serious, won the last 4 games, and now it's another thing you have to put this and the lineup of on the Western Conference and the race for the playoff. Really interesting. They play against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll be looking about this. And then Cave said this, and I want to bring just a 1 minute. I don't want to open the door too much about Montreal, but I want to. Hugo said at the development year, is Marty getting off track with the plan? It was up to Hugo to get Marty back on the track. Absolutely right. And October, not a problem to say we are really the year where we have to develop, we have to make the rookie better. That's not a problem. But when you are on the December 15, and after the press conference, he said, it's all about the development right now. And it's coming for the head coach versus we try to win, we try to do this. That's the problem. So at the beginning, everybody is fine. It's 0-0-0. Every time that. We don't have those kind of problems when the Montreal was played for 500. It's when the boat changed the direction. Now it's starting to be more negative. And when you hear your coach that only is about development, That's not resonate well with the veterans. That's the trend I would say to you between Hugo and Martin Saint Louis when they talk about this. That's the only thing I said. But a great point, Ellen, to bring this on the table when they said that. But some time Buffalo had who? But Buffalo right now lost the last two games. Really, two games they should win or they should possibly to stay in the race. Look like they are there. Do you believe now they're going to be a buyer or you just let it go?
No, I don't think that they can just let it go. I don't think there's. I don't think it's a coincidence that ever since Lukanen went down, and I realized that maybe that's the way they had to go, but it just seemed in those 9 or 10 games that he played, he was looking extremely well. He had confidence in himself. I think the team had confidence that they could emphasize offense a little bit more and didn't have to worry because they had a solid goaltender, or at least a promising goaltender. And we're not seeing that to the same extent right now. And they need to wake up because they have a good team. They really have a good team, and I think that they have a playoff run in them to try to get there. It's just a matter of maybe picking up a piece or two, and then just focusing on whoever's at the bottom of the wild card spots.
Do you believe them they're going to make the playoff or not?
I think ultimately they'll fall short from getting into the playoffs. But having said all that, you never know. Like injuries that hit a team could devastate them, and you see them falling off. Nothing is guaranteed for teams like Pittsburgh, Washington, the Islanders. Like nothing there is a guarantee that they're going to stay in that spot. Like people right now are starting to think, well, Washington got their 2 or 3 stars back now. They're going to start motoring. Well, it could take a while before they get that chemistry going again and they get their wheels back. So, who knows? Like we got to realize this is only the halfway mark so far. And we're trying to peg these guys, these teams into certain spots and saying this one's going to be successful. This one could win the cup. This one might not. There's a lot of hockey to be played still, and it's about getting that chemistry together and moving forward together as a team and being ready, especially as you go into the playoffs or you get close to
But
it,
you have to make the
because
playoff.
that's of course, I understand that, and so you treat that way. That could actually be an advantage to you because some of the teams that coast all year long, because like let's take Florida last year, right? They really just they came out of the gate quick and they never looked in their rear view mirror ever since. It came to playoff time, they were lost. But some of the teams that had to really fight to get into the playoffs, they were some of the toughest outs in the playoffs. Like Nashville, unfortunately, they lost Saros going into the playoffs, and that's what doomed them. But you look at some of the other teams, like Edmonton was always in a battle, and they won a couple of rounds. Tampa Bay was in a battle, and you saw what they did, going right back to the finals. So it's a matter of playing meaningful hockey and using that to your advantage to move forward.
But that's the point. Like, if you don't do that way, like, it's a lot of concern. Like, if I'm Colorado right now, I'm concerned. Like, everybody said, oh, no, no problem. They're going to make it. But they lose yesterday. The Winnipeg win. The Dallas win. Winnipeg lost, but when Dallas won.
Winnipeg
And
lost. Yeah.
Nashville won the last 4 games. That it's you can win, but if everybody else win in front of you, you're still 20 in the NHL. So whatever they're thinking, there's no problem. You can take one more month. They're going to realize very fast. Other teams step up. They never thought. St. Louis right now is in front of Colorado. Nashville is in front of Colorado. They are 6 in the Central Division.
Yeah, they are. They are right now.
And
But I mean, we're talking peanuts here, right? Like I think Colorado's 43 and Nashville's 44 and
but they
St.
have to
Louis
win
is
the game,
45.
Mr.
Like
Natap. They have to game the W.
eh, without a doubt, I'm not suggesting that they sit back and don't do anything for the next 2 or 3 weeks and then try to get it together, because that doesn't make sense and it doesn't work that way. But I look at Colorado's play. Yeah, there are gaps. There are things that are wrong, but I think that those things will be remedied. And I think once you see maybe they make a move or two, this team will get itself into a playoff spot. I don't doubt that right now. I could be wrong, but I don't doubt it that they'll get in.
We'll go talk about this tomorrow. First half, women's turns up. Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, Vancouver. Four teams are not looking good right now. NHL injury, Toronto Matthews is, and then Pittsburgh Jerry.
Out.
Activate players, yesterday we talked about them. I want to back. Only thing we read is a line change up to the Edmonton Picard and is in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Skinner is out. Toronto called up Bobby McMahon, Mr. ENORTAP. It's not a wrestler. It's not McMahon for the WWE. He's a 26 years old, born in USA. Played for Colgate University and play right now for he never played in NHL. He was undrafted in NHL and he has 17 point 15 game for the Toronto Marlins. Never played any game around the NHL, so they call him. He's a center, 6'2", 190 pounds. I just want to bring to you in case sometimes what the heck is this guy? And then finally, the Edmonton announced that Skinner is not available for tonight, and Toronto do the same thing with Matthews, Mr. ENORTAP. But before we start, we want to bring the people on the bus. We want to thank Mr. Of course, Richard Marlin and the Double J with an amazing performance of 8-2. Here we go, Mr. ENORTAP. Congratulations for the same way for Mr. But when we go on the bus, where we go usually, Mr. ENORTAP?
Yeah, some others have to go to jail, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's not a good news. And sometimes you have to go sometime twice very soon. And we know we have a create another location for we put the jail a bit bigger. We have three annex now. King Gamer, Danny T, and Chicago County Jail. We're growing for sure, Mr. ENORTAP. It's time to go to the jail. And we have one person, Mr. ENORTAP, with 2 and 8. I'm talking about Jose Duarte. I think that's the second time the last 3 days he popped up over there. I think last Friday he was with 0-6, but we want to tell anybody. And are you ready, Mr. ENORTAP?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Jose, you're done for the next 24 hours. We welcome back Mr. KLS. Welcome back in the house. Thanks to be with us. A lot of good conversation, that chat between people. That's awesome, Mr. ENORTAP. And we have only 4 games, so we have a little bit more time to talk about. If we have more time after, we're going to add more content. We have a lot for you guys. I can talk all night about this. Thanks so much. Chicago Bear is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back, Chicago Bear. And that's it. And the prediction of the night is already done. It's Mr. ENORTAP go with a perfect game tonight, 4-0.
We'll see. We hope, but we're not experts.
I love to put pressure on ENORTAP.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, the Flyers and Capitals, they're meeting in Philadelphia tonight. Looks like Kemper against Hart. With the Caps, they're set as huge road favorites against the younger, less experienced Flyer team. Even though the Flyers have been playing very well recently, with wins in, I think it's 4 out of their last 5 games. Washington has been playing just as well, and it's also returning some key players from injuries, as we all know. So that should help matters, even though it might take time for them to be fully in game shape form. The Capitals, they've been playing the entire season without some of those key members, and they did their job and surpassed it, I would say. It was about treading water until these guys could come back, but they went beyond that and put themselves literally in a playoff spot as we speak today. I think they're right now they're hanging in onto third in the Metro, if I recall correctly. Moving forward, the Capitals should be one of the most dangerous teams. They should have success in this matchup here tonight against the Flyers. as the Flyers rank 24th in expected goals and 25th in expected goals against. So those are not very good stats for them. I'm going to take Washington to win this game by a score of 4-2.
SENORTAP et go with Washington 4-2, ladies and gentlemen. Take a note about this because this is really important. He take Washington by the score of 4-2. And honestly, I have to listen to gold. And I'm going to go Washington by the score of 4-2, Mr. SENORTAP.
Awesome.
I want
What
to
do we
put
have
you
next?
proud.
Nashville.
I want to put you proud. But yes, we want to welcome Justin Samsel, I believe I can, if I can sit. Welcome in the house, Justin. Welcome back, by the way. Thanks to join us at any time. And Melissa
Welcome,
Zabran
Justin.
is in the house, Mr. Tap. So awesome to get that.
Welcome, guys. Welcome,
It may be
everyone.
the game of the night for me, Mr. Tap. Is Nashville Predator against Toronto Maple Leaf without Matthews.
Without Matthews, and is it confirmed yet that Saros is starting?
Yep.
Do we
I say
know?
yes. I'm not sure. I did not get yet.
Yeah. I mean, I would believe so, even though he's had a lot of action over the last little while against Murray. The Leafs, they're going to look to extend their 2-game winning streak tonight against Nashville. While the Leafs have strung together a couple of solid games, outscoring their opposition by a margin of 10-3. The Predators have been just as good and probably even better. They've won 5 out of their last 6 games, and they're sort of really on a roll now. They've made themselves very uh, much part of the conversation about getting into the playoffs with that short streak. This is, it's a great matchup on the national stage. The odds would suggest, obviously, that you take the Leafs here. And, I would lean in that direction as well. After a streak of poor save percentage and goals against, the Leafs seem to be smoothing that process out a little bit, and they had gotten some very good goaltending around the Christmas time and just slightly after as well. Um, Lately, they've shown some kinks in the armor. Hopefully, that's not something that is permanent, because if they don't get the goaltending, this team will not go far. I'm going to go with the Leafs here, but I think it'll be a tough game. Might even go to overtime, but I think the Leafs will win this one by a score of 4-3.
All right, Mr. Tap. Great selection, Mr. Tap. Again, I have to go with the GOAT of this game, Mr. Tap. I go with a score of Toronto by the score of 4-3, Mr. Tap. Exactly what you just said. I'm 2-2 right now, Mr. Tap, with you.
Or 0-2. We'll see.
No.
We have confidence.
I,
We have
I,
confidence.
I'm get out here with the confidence with you and me together. The
Yes.
tandem, we're going
All
to go
right.
4-0 tonight.
And what's Yarmo doing? Is he going the same direction?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, next. Oh my gosh, Edmonton and Anaheim. Talk about, how can you leave any points on the table here? Like, Edmonton's got to win this game.
Mr.
Um,
Tap, I want to stop you there because
yeah,
if you have we have a bad time to play again in Mountain Oilers. It's tonight. You should not want to play against them after they lost again. The lost just came 2 days ago. Already the Ducks. I think they show up the night with no hockey stick. They show up with a white flag, and they're going to go all the way around the ice tonight. We give up. We don't want to play. We give it to go. Well, let's go celebrate out. It's going to be
yeah,
ugly.
and I agree. I agree. And there are two teams that I think their prospects are totally in different directions. I think Anaheim's looking at it from a building perspective. Edmonton's looking at a survival perspective and getting into the playoffs. It on paper, it makes sense that this should not be even a contest, and that Edmonton will come out flying, especially after leaving points on the table over the last few games. here and there. Expect guys like McDavid and Draisaitl to really step up tonight. I think that we kind of take what they're doing this year for granted. And if you look at McDavid's production so far, he is on pace to get about 150 points this year. And we haven't been able to say that in a long, long time in the NHL, not since the Lemieux and prior days before him with Gretzky and guys like that. So I fully expect them to come out flying and taking it to the Anaheim Ducks. The last time they played, they skated rings around them. They beat Anaheim by a score of 6-1. I know this game is in Anaheim, but Edmonton, I think, just has too much talent. I'm going to take the Oilers to win 5-2.
5-2, Mr. ENORTAP. That's awesome, Mr. ENORTAP. I said to you before we talk, I said they are hungry right now. Not hungry, angry. You're going to see some firecracker inside the Edmonton Oilers tonight. I go with 6, Mr. ENORTAP, tonight. 6-2.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they lose this game? What the headlines will be tomorrow?
If they lose
Anyways,
tonight, Mr. ENORTAP, I would come back tomorrow. Said because they're not tap again.
yeah, of course.
How about
The
that?
whole NHL can blame it on me.
We want to welcome Jordan James Adams. Welcome for the first time in the chat. And the first thing he said, he is a big Toronto Maple Leaf fans here, and Montreal Canadian fan is a fool. So thanks so much, Jordan, to sharing your comments. Not a problem. We appreciate that. And we welcome you in the house, the Hockey Nation Live Show family. And usually, Jordan, when the people said that, they always remember to the Toronto Maple Leaf fans the last time they won the Stanley Cup in 1967. But it's all well
When,
done.
Coach? When did they win the cup?
1967, Mr. Natap.
Oh,
1997.
I wasn't even born yet. Oh
Here we go.
my.
That's happening sometime about this one. But it's just like a punch back at what Jordan said. Nothing wrong. We just welcome you, my friend. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show. We really kind about
Thanks for
this.
joining us, Justin.
Respect Tyler Toyo, first round pick for Edmondson et Drouin. Ireland would like to 3 protect, but use 1 non-predicted. Here we go, Mr. Hélène précède Aaron Goldender, Olivier Rodrigue, Rosick, Taylor, Tullio, and the first round pick 2020 for Edmondson and Drouin. And Ireland would like to top 3. And would like to 3 protect is use 1 unprotected.
Is unprotected. It looks good. I would do it for Montreal.
I would be a little bit. I need to go a little bit deeper about that, but would be interesting. This very good about this. And then the last game, San Jose Mr. Top versus the Los Angeles Kings is going to be co-play. The Alaska player born in Alaska versus James Reimer. Reimer is still in the league, by the way.
Right, he is, and he's up against Phoenix Copley again tonight. This guy's been the saving grace for LA, I think, and now you could see the difference that's made in the confidence level with the Kings. They're playing a much better team game. They're more committed to stopping the puck from going into their own net, as we were seeing early on in the year, and they're maintaining their offensive prowess as well. And that is also attributed to having Fiala on that team. I think that he's added a very good dimension that allows other players to focus on different roles. Yeah, getting production as well, but focusing on their particular new roles, and it's made the team overall a much better team. The San Jose is on the second of a back-to-back on the road after winning against Arizona 4-2 last night. That's always a difficult situation to be in. Number one, the Kings, they've won 7 out of the past 10 games, and they trail. Believe it or not, they trail Vegas by 2 points for first place in the Pacific now. They're converting 25% of their power play opportunities. And like I said, Fiala is up to, I think, 45, 46 points, which is fantastic. Great acquisition by them. The Sharks, they're 13 and 39 in their last 52 games against the team with a winning record. And the Kings are 6 and 2, as I mentioned, in their last 8 games. However, in LA, the Sharks are 15 and 5 in the last 20 meetings. So
Wow.
that's a very interesting stat that I found that I had to look at it twice because I couldn't believe it. But I still think the fatigue from last night and the fact that LA is playing much better now, I'm going to go with LA to win this one 5-3.
5-3, Mr. Tap. 2 days ago, Mr. Tap, you said to me, the Edmonton Oilers, when they play in the Los Angeles Kings, they are 5-1-0. Remember?
Yes.
You took Edmonton.
I know.
And you sent my pick.
But
you sent my pick.
But they were, I know, but when they go 0-6 on the power play, one of the best power plays in the league, that was the game. They should have won that game.
So you give us an excuse 0-6.
Okay.
5-1, Mr. Natap. I confess that Couple is going to be excellent against San Jose about this, Mr. Natap. So we have the same kind of team we have tonight. I'm telling you, everybody's going to be. Luciano go with the Anaheim Ducks, and Yamo go with Nashville tonight, Mr. Natap.
Uh-huh. So there'll be some differences. Good.
I think we'll be a couple of friends about this. I send you my my texting about Double J and Nick already, Mr. Natap. So they'll be interesting. If you are playing in the Quebec tournament many years ago, like I did, and for the first time they opened up the tournament, Mr. Natap, for a section of the feminine hockey for this tournament. Mm-hmm. So one of the biggest tournaments around the world, and for the Pee Wee tournament in Quebec, they open up like a division for the feminine hockey, Mr. Natap. Pretty cool. Very good about that one.
Long overdue. Long overdue, yeah. Coach.
And it's great to they recognize Guy Lafleur during that tournament, honestly. So they're going to name a trophy about Guy Lafleur, Mr. Natap. So you guys matched me 3 out of the 4 for Richard Malin. Malin as the Flyers. And we'll be interesting. Mr. Natap, a great contest tonight. We talk about this fun thing. We wish we could talk a little bit more. We'll be back at 7:30 tonight for the Toronto Nashville, Mr. Natap. And we'll continue to do like we did yesterday. The NH Hockey Nationalized Show Network continue to give all the information of what's going on around the league after we are done for the game. I want to pay you one more thing, Mr. Natap. We'll go talk about this tomorrow, the overtime hockey pound. Don't forget about this, Mr. Natap. You still have the time to talk about this. But what are you looking for tonight, Mr. Natap?
Well, that Nashville-Toronto game is very intriguing. I like to see how they'll match up. I know Nashville's on a bit of a hot streak, but if you look carefully, some of the teams that they've played have not been, world beaters. So we have to keep that in mind. But having said that, you have to win what's in front of you. And they've been guilty of doing that. So it should be interesting tonight how Toronto reacts without Matthews in the lineup.
We'll be really interesting about this, Mr. Natap. Luciano put all the money, Mr. Natap, on the table. He go one way to another way. He put the Flyers, the Nashville, the Ducks, and the Los Angeles Kings. Really interesting. I don't know why nobody listen to you, Mr. Natap. I don't get why the people don't listen, Mr. Natap. Danny is like a preacher. When Natap talk, Danny said, Amen.
No, you got the wrong guy, Danny.
Oh, that's happening about that one.
He never listens.
But before we leave,
he never listens.
Everybody,
you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
This is the best show on the YouTube channel, the warm-up show with ENORTAP. Thanks so much again for your participation, everybody. We thank each one of you. Don't forget, we are back at 7:30 between the game. We do the play-by-play commentary for the Nashville Predator versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. We did not do Toronto for the last couple of weeks, so we're glad to see the Toronto Maple Leafs without Austin Matthews. And can't wait to see each one of you. Mr. ENORTAP, we wish you an amazing, great, blessing Wednesday night. And I can wait to see you tomorrow night. We are back at 6 o'clock, Mr. ENORTAP, tomorrow with many games and around the NHL. Don't forget to click on the like, please. If you play on the fantasy hockey, please don't forget to start your lineup, the roster. And that's what I have to say. Anything you want to add, Mr. ENORTAP?
Just want to wish everybody a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Be well, be hell. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. ENORTAP?
Year 2023.
Have an amazing, great night, Mr. ENORTAP. I will see you tomorrow night, 6 o'clock p.m. Thanks, everybody. Denis Rodrigue, have an amazing, great night. He just knocked the door. And Rick Bengal, he was there without talking. He was watching us behind the curtain with Dementra. And he said, who are going to pick tonight to beat ENORTAP and Coach?
Okay.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.